Welcome back, Chaos Crew. I'm Jamie, your host. So grab your Proffee, get comfy, because we're going to have some caffeinated convos. And for today's episode, we are tuning in live from Farmington, Connecticut during our in-person weight loss surgery meetup. I cannot even tell you all how much fun we are having, how meaningful it is to all be in this room together. And for anyone who has been, maybe not even just in the weight loss surgery community, but a part of any community, you know how special it is to connect with people who understand you, to be supported by people who see you, who hear you, and who validate you. And with everything I've done on my journey, it's all started from this place and it stemmed from this place of really needing community. I did not know not even one other weight loss surgery patient in my entire life when I had my surgery back in 2017. And even though I had my family support and my then boyfriend, now husband's support, I felt very alone. I felt very isolated and I felt very ashamed of my choice to have surgery. There's still a stigma around surgery and GLP-1s, but I think the stigma was even heavier all those years ago, and not many people talked about it. And I remember thinking, I am a dietitian, I have my degree in nutrition, and I'm overwhelmed with all of this. I feel lost. And I didn't feel at the time like I needed more of my surgery center's support. I felt like I needed to be with people who understood, with people who got it. And here we are, nearly 8 years later, in a room full of incredible humans who have been showing up and supporting one another for years. So many people sitting in this room right now have been in my tribe membership for many years. Many of us have connected many times on social media, have had many conversations. And for the first time, we're getting out of our little Zoom boxes and hugging each other in person and in real life. And if you're listening to this, again, whether you're part of the weight loss surgery community or not, don't underestimate how powerful that is. And if you feel alone in whatever struggles you're going through, I would really encourage you to start to seek out that community. It blew my mind when I learned the fact that people who have support and accountability are more than 90% more likely to hit their goals and succeed. It's also true that you are going to be most like the people you surround yourself with. And I'm not saying to just ditch your friends or your family, but if those around you are not supporting you, helping you grow, have similar aspirations, are going similar places, it's your responsibility to seek that out. And I'm really proud of everyone who's in here right now who has done just that. Before we kind of dive into some more topics today, some more caffeinated combos, I do just want to take a moment to thank our sponsors for both this event and for the podcast. We have Hungry Root, who is our sponsor. They do incredible grocery delivery services, and they have provided all of our snacks for our bariatric brunch here today. Delicious and amazing and super bariatric friendly. We want to thank First Form for being not only a sponsor, but providing all of our protein for our Proffies. Because what would this be without our protein coffee? We always have a Proffee in hand. That is just like the rule at this point. And then a shout out and thank you to our sponsor and my good friend, Ashlyn Douglas Barnes from Find a Bariatric Therapist. She is sitting here in the room with us. Thank you, Ashlyn, not just for all of your support with this event and the podcast, but for being such a good friend to me personally over the years. And with that being said, I wanted to take the opportunity today to open up the floor to those of you sitting here to ask questions, to maybe share a little bit of your own journey. So we have a microphone going around and we're just going to see where the conversations go. That's part of why I created this podcast too, is I just want, anything goes, right? Like life is crazy and unpredictable and there's not a real plan. So you can ask whatever it is that you'd like. So hands up, who wants to go first? Ashlyn, you just shot your hand up. That is all you. Got the microphone. All right, Chaos Crew, you already know how much I talk about being a new mom and juggling not only that aspect of my life, but my post-op health and life after surgery. And I honestly can't even tell you how many times Hungry Root has saved me in this season of life. They are the most incredible grocery delivery service where I know that when I use their groceries, I'm getting really healthy, high protein, easy to use ingredients sent right to my door. And honestly, now that Oliver is eating real food now too, it's just they've grown so much with me and my family. I started using them when I was just 1 month postpartum and has absolutely been a game changer. Whether I am using the ingredients they send me from scratch to create one of their amazing meals with one of their recipes, or I'm just grabbing one of their ready-made options, I always have something for dinner ready to go for me and my family. And for right now, they are offering Proffee and Chaos listeners 40% off your first order when you use the code CHAOS at checkout. So don't forget, you can head to the link in the show notes. You can grab your first grocery order, which, like, hello, 40% off of groceries. Amazing. Make sure you go and do that. Use the link, use the code so they know that I sent you.
What's so cute? It's in
Thanks.
pink. Does everyone see this tiny cute pink microphone? Sorry to those who cannot see me. How do you balance the professional side and the personal side of being both a bariatric patient yourself and being a professional within the bariatric community, especially when you've struggled or you have had to be like very human? How have you balanced those two spaces?
That's such a good question. And I'm not surprised you asked it at all.
No, because I'm working on that too.
We've talked about this a lot. One of the compliments I've always gotten over the years is people have always said, like, "You're so real, you're so genuine." And I guess I can't imagine being anything but that. And I've said it so many times. If you are looking for a dietitian who's going to sit there in her white lab coat and just give you all the rules, I am not the girl for you. I am not your dietitian. And this journey, me showing up in my journey has always been about honestly me finding that support and me making those connections personally before anything else. So when I first started my Instagram page, it was actually under a different name. I didn't even tell anyone I was a dietitian at the time. I was strictly there just for connection and community. And then I started telling people about what I did, and I was really scared to do that because there's a stigma around dietitians just like there is around surgery. And people, have had really many of you sitting here have had really awful experiences with dietitians or doctors or practitioners shaming you for your weight or making you feel like crap. So I never wanted anyone to feel like that around me. And I think just being open and honest has been the best thing I've ever done, not just for everyone else, but for myself, because I needed to make those connections. I needed to show the struggles because what would be the point if I showed up and made it look perfect when it's not? So I've always tried really hard. Obviously, you can't show everything on social media, but I've always leaned on this community and come back to it when I felt like it doesn't feel good to show up on social media and put on like a smiling face when you are struggling. So I try and just show that, and my hope is by leading by example, it gives my clients and my tribe members and others the opportunity to do the same.
Yeah, because I think for me, that was so helpful as a professional because I wanted community so bad, but I didn't know how can I be a professional within the community, find community and friendship, but also have to be in both spaces. So
Well,
it was helpful for me to see you be able to do
and
that.
I don't claim to have done it perfectly by any means. And that was actually one of the big reasons, and I talk about this in the first episode, why I created the podcast, because I feel like over the years, unfortunately, even though it was never intentional, I started to ostracize myself from the very community I created because it is lonely leading. It is lonely being one to make all the decisions. And as beautiful and amazing as our community is, we get customer service emails and complaints, or we have to, handle all sorts of personalities and make sure that we are steering everyone in the right direction. It's hard sometimes to lead, make all those decisions and still be a part of what you create. And that's why I wanted to have this platform to kind of get back to my roots of just me showing up and just talking about whatever versus me as Jamie versus me as the dietitian. To be honest, as long as I am following my code of ethics as a dietitian, as long as I am giving you evidence-based guidance and support, that's professional enough. And if you don't like the pink hair, or you don't like the hoovering, or you don't like any of the other things that are unprofessional traditionally, then again, I'm not the person for you.
Awesome. Thank you.
That's a good question. Thanks, Ashlyn. Who's next? Carol Ann.
So earlier we kind of had an interesting conversation, and I think it would be really great to touch on it now, is like this concept of being a little bit further out from surgery and like maybe the first couple of years, your life has essentially revolved around being a bariatric patient or focusing on doing so as best as you can, even if it's not perfectly, but like coming away from that over a period of time and like life doesn't revolve around it anymore. So, can you speak a little towards that and how it's changed?
Totally. So me and Carol Ann were talking about this earlier today about how weight loss and weight loss surgery can unintentionally start to become like your identity on this journey. And at certain points, it almost has to. Like, it is so involved to choose to like have a bariatric surgery or go on a GLP-1 and do these what some might say are drastic measures to get to that healthy place. And there's so many rules to follow and there's so much to figure out, not even just with the food, but just mentally and emotionally. It's all absorbing and all consuming. It's really easy to forget that it's not your life's purpose or your job to just lose weight all the time. And I've shared this story a handful of times in the tribe, but a handful of years ago, it was actually when I had hit my like then lowest weight after surgery. And I didn't really need to be losing weight anymore. This is before I had had some regain and all the other things. But I remember my therapist saying to me, she's like, who would you be if you weren't the girl who had to lose weight? And I didn't know how to answer that because I felt like I always had to lose weight. So if I wasn't trying to lose weight, who the hell was I? And fast forward, here I am almost 8 years later. And I feel so, I never thought I'd get to this place. I really, really didn't, but I don't feel like I'm that person anymore. Yes, I'm still losing some of the baby weight and all the things, but my life doesn't revolve around weight loss anymore. And that is so freeing to realize I have more to offer this world and more things than just my ability to lose weight or to even help other people do it. So, if there's one thing I can encourage you to do is yes, prioritize yourself and your health, prioritize your goals and, do what you need to get support and commit to them, but don't make it your entire life's purpose because I think that's when and I've had this happen where it's like, okay, I hit the goal weight or I got down on the scale, but it didn't fix anything else. So, it's really about figuring out how to make yourself happy and fulfilled while on this journey without it becoming the whole thing. And I don't know if that exactly like answers the question or explains it, but it's something I see so often is people get so wrapped up in this ability to lose weight being their identity that when they come to me 2, 3, 4 years out with 20, 30, 40 pounds of regain, they feel like the most epic failure on the planet. And it feels like I threw this away and you don't know who you are. So yes, you can lose the regain and that's I am not even exaggerating a little bit when I say I have literally tried every single protein powder out there since I had my surgery 8 years ago. And for the first time, I am actually being super consistent with drinking my protein shake every single morning. And that's because First Form has been a game changer for me. It is the first protein powder that I actually enjoy drinking every day. I personally love their caramel latte level 1 flavor protein powder. It is incredible. It tastes so good. It is smooth, creamy, and only has the highest quality ingredients. It is not made with any fillers. It is just an epic product specifically for bariatric patients, and it's been a total game changer for me. And you guys know that this podcast is called Proffee and Chaos for a reason. I'm always grabbing my Proffee and running out the door, and First Form makes it possible for me to still live this chaotic life and hit my needs. So make sure you check out the links below, that you check out all of First Form's products. Again, level 1 is my favorite. Also in the show notes below, you can get my favorite Proffee recipe using First Form. Great. But who's next? Helen.
Hello.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, everybody. Can I continue this for one sec?
For anyone who doesn't know, we have Helen Kimmel here. She is a registered dietitian as well and bariatric patient. So absolutely, Helen, you supported her in so many ways for so many years. So you take the floor.
My comment is on your weight loss journey, when you've lost all the weight, we don't necessarily talk about how vulnerable it is when, for lack of a better term, when you lift the cloak of fat, it's really vulnerable to be there. And I think we should be seen to not have the excuse of I can't do that because I don't fit. I can't do that because I can't, whatever it is. I think for so many of us, it's like, okay, what you said, Jamie, who am I and what am I going to do with it? And I think we need to, on the journey, talk more about that. It's scary.
100%. One of the affirmations I actually give a lot of my clients, anyone who's worked with me in any capacity knows that we're really big on the mindset work. And one of the ones I usually encourage people to say or write down is, it is safe for me to be seen. because so many of us have been in the background or overlooked our whole lives, that it is very scary and very vulnerable when you can first be seen. And I remember having a little bit of a little bit of an identity crisis one day in Forever 21 when I had which okay, I was 24 when I had my weight loss surgery, so I think it was appropriate to be there then. We're not there now, but at the time, I remember I had always wanted to be able to shop in the quote normal stores, and I had finally lost all the weight. And every time I went to Forever 21, I would beeline it right to the plus size section and pick whatever fit or was quote flattering or available. And I didn't, not only did I not have to, I couldn't do that at this point. I was like, wait, I have the whole store. I was like, okay, I need to go pick what I like. I was like, I don't know what I like. What do I like? And then I was like very upset and overwhelmed, and I left with nothing because I had no idea what my style actually was or what I liked. Because all my life I would just wear what fit or what fit and was flattering. So that was like another like little moment where I was like, wait, who am I? And that's so important.
Not buy something just because it fits and then buy it in every single color because it fits, right?
Yeah, I will say the I'm not going to use the term transfer addiction because that is a very serious term that maybe we'll talk about at some point. But I definitely have found myself over the years leaning on shopping as its own coping mechanism. And I think a lot of it has been fueled by, well, I couldn't wear this before. So I'm going to go make myself feel better today. I'm going to go get those jeans that I never could have worn before. That's been an interesting realization too. Who's next? Anyone? Michelle.
Let's kind of go back to what you were saying earlier. When you're trying to not obsess over the bariatric journey, and you may find yourself on different journeys, and this might be an ADHD girl thing,
Yes.
but then sometimes I find that you get obsessed with the new thing, and maybe your bariatric journey slips to the back, and then it can have like negative or
It's a
negative
really
connotations.
fine balancing act and juggling act, and I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that I've done that perfectly either. It's again, sometimes you have to be flexible to be consistent because it's so easy to be in that all or nothing place of either I'm on at top of every bariatric habit or I'm not at all. So it's figuring out, okay, well, which of these habits are attainable for me each day? And it's not going to be all of them every day. It's just not. So trying to live in the middle there is really hard. And one of my clients had said to me, again, those of you in the tribe have definitely heard me say this before, but I remember telling one of my clients one day we were having a very similar conversation. And I had said, it's really like a juggling act. It's like, you're juggling things and sometimes you drop the ball. And she had said, yeah, she's like, but some of those balls are plastic and some are glass. She's like, so some I can't drop because I will break them. And what she meant by that was, unfortunately, there are some non-negotiables in our life. She's like, yeah, I want to get my stuff taken care of, but like I have to feed my kids and get them on the bus. Like that is a non-negotiable. So it's trying to figure out what pieces of this journey are your non-negotiables. And if you drop those plastic balls, remembering you can always pick it back up. So even if you've been off the wagon or you've let a lot of things slide, I usually will tell my clients, pick just 2 things. What are 2 things you are capable of doing today that can be a non-negotiable? I don't want you to think about everything, but what are 2 things? So maybe that's your water and your protein. Maybe that's water and your vitamins. Maybe that's eating a vegetable at dinner and going to bed at a decent time. It doesn't have to be anything like earth shattering, but what are 2 things that'll make you feel better to start to propel those habits again? Because I think it can be, and I don't know if this is kind of like what you were thinking, Michelle, but I think it can just be very overwhelming when it's like you try and explore these other avenues of your life and then you forget this one and it feels again like, oh, well, I failed because I gave it up. It's going to ebb and flow.
Can I just talk or do I need the microphone? I need the microphone. Okay. I'm 3 years post-op and I am struggling like I never did before with my vitamins and protein. I'm sorry, my vitamins and calcium because of you can't have your vitamin with your calcium. And so now I'm looking at my pill container and like I have days where I've only taken 1 calcium and 1 multivitamin because of the spacing. It's just
Well, if you can, switching to multi 1 a day is always my suggestion. But yeah, it's really hard. Usually I would, so technically the calcium supplements are going to be calcium citrate, which are 500 milligrams per chew or tablet, whatever you're taking. And we need 1200 to 1500 per day. I usually tell people like, yeah, if you can get like the 3 in per day, that's great. But if you can get at least 2 in, that'll do for, good enough is good enough. So
you only have to take 1 a day and then you would take 2 calciums.
Yeah, and if you can get the third one in, great, but if not,
Okay.
way better than not getting anything in.
Okay. All right.
One in the morning, one in the afternoon. Like that's what I used to do. Take the calcium in the morning and then multivitamin at night.
Mhm.
But I've been like in the morning, take my vitamin, wait an hour. Is it an hour?
2 hours.
2 hours. It's 2 hours. Take my calcium, and then the whole thing starts again in the afternoon. So I guess that
I would so you
that would help to have the multivitamin once a day.
Yeah, usually I'll tell people to take the multivitamin if you can with breakfast in the morning, and then around lunch, take the calcium, and around dinner, take the second calcium. You're welcome. Everyone's also laughing because that's my mom asking the question. She's a bariatric patient too, as if she can't talk to me about this anytime. It's okay. We love it. One of the biggest things I talk to my clients about is the fact that surgery, as much as it is physical, is also super mental and emotional. We can have our stomachs removed, bypassed, whatever, but we cannot bypass or remove the parts of our head that need work. And this is why I am constantly referring people to find a bariatric therapist. This is an incredible, incredible platform created by my friend and colleague, Ashlyn Douglas Barnes. She is a licensed bariatric therapist. She had weight loss surgery herself, and it is so incredible what she has put together. It is a free directory. It costs you literally nothing, and you can find licensed bariatric specific therapists licensed in your state. So make sure you check it out. As a dietitian, I help you with the food, but we always need to be incorporating the interdisciplinary team so that you get the well-rounded support you need. Check it out below and let us know your thoughts.
Hi, I'm Stephanie. I'm 5 years out for VSG and 4 months out for a peniculotomy, or however you say that.
Congratulations.
Thank you. But yet here I still am dealing with people either sabotaging or trying to sabotage my progress, or people that are very judgmental and make comments like, "Oh, I can't believe you ate." Like at one of the work parties, I had a little piece of cake. God forbid, had a little piece of cake. You had surgery. Are you supposed to eat that? I don't think you're supposed to eat that. I'm like, who are you? You never had surgery. You've been a toothpick your whole life. Like, I'm not sure where you judge me for that. But like, not everyone knows my journey because of that. I keep it kind of private. But some people that know, I would expect them to be a little more supportive. Like, what's the best way to respond? Like, some people I just don't spend a lot of time around anymore, but like, how is the best way to respond to that? And also, because I do live off guilt, so sometimes I'm like, maybe I am really screwing up, or maybe I am spending too much time focused on myself and I should be this or that. And I get kind of stuck in those valleys sometimes.
Mhm.
So just curious what your thoughts are on that.
Would you like a more professional answer, or would you like a more personal answer?
No, real. I want to know. I don't want professional. No, real. No, I like real. I'm a real person. Yes, yes.
And Deb's gonna tell him. This has got to just be the Capricorn in me. I love making people feel as stupid as they are when they're jerks. And I'm just gonna say that on here. I love the response, like, "Wow, I can't believe you felt comfortable saying that to me out loud." That's a really great one. Rena's ready to say that too. I think a lot of this does come back. It's so frustrating because we can't force people to be understanding or supportive, but what we can do is maintain our own boundaries about who we let in. So if you know there's people who are not going to be respectful, who are going to be supportive, those probably aren't the people to tell your goals to, and those probably aren't the people to seek out the validation in. Even if you want their support so badly, and I'm not saying you do from this random coworker who doesn't know what you're talking about, but I think a lot of it does come back to boundaries and upholding them, and it's so hard to uphold boundaries around other people because it starts with us, and we teach people what those boundaries are. So that's where we have to take that ownership and responsibility for it. And the other thing I'll say, because I heard you say it brings up a lot of guilt and it brings up a lot of self-doubt. So when people say these things to you, it's triggering thing. And while I'm not a therapist, I'm going to encourage anyone to explore this with a therapist. Oh gosh, up at the end. Um, when 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 something triggers you, it's an invitation for you to look closer. So if you notice, like, if someone were to say, "Oh, wow, I can't believe you had that extra bite." If that makes you feel really, like, shitty, if that makes you feel like you're questioning yourself, that's uncomfortable, but an invitation to say, "I need to work on this and why."
It's interesting because I've done so much work with a therapist about this, because as a child, when I was thin, I was constantly spoken to about how much I was eating, which ended up triggering overeating and emotional overeating and got me to where I am. And I thought I had done all the work, but those kinds of comments make me realize how much more work I still have to do, because you think, hey, I made it past that. But then honestly, those things do make you realize there's still so much to do. Like, I think I'll be working my whole life on these things, to be honest.
And I'm sorry that this has happened to you, because it's really awful to have those comments and you don't deserve that. And it's frustrating when you feel like you're the only one around you doing the work. But I worked with a therapist and my own mindset coach, and she said it's really like, once you start doing like heavy duty mindset work, it's kind of like an onion, like you're just peeling back the layers. It's not like you fix a layer and you're done. It brings up something else. Um, it's really important work, and it's the work that not enough people are guided to doing on this journey. Yeah, you have your pre-op psych evaluation, but we all know how to fudge that one to get the yes. We're being real here, but like the ongoing work is what's gonna really matter in the long run, because most of us, if not all of us, have struggled with some form of emotional eating or coping, and that doesn't just go away because you had surgery. And I think it's a really hard dose of reality too once you realize that. So just know that you're not alone, and I'm really glad you shared that. But and I don't know if that was helpful, but try the line. I'm surprised you felt comfortable saying that to me, and just see what they say.
That ironic though, when you're heavy, people make comments like that as well. So we should be almost like used to it, which is sad to say. But like, yeah, I mean, that's a great comment though, and I will definitely use it.
Or even, did you just say that to me? Did you mean to say that out loud? Like,
That's true. That's true. Where's your filter? Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Does anyone else have a question? Deb?
So I've been in the thralls of regain.
You and the rest of us, my friend.
Yeah. And I have avoided going back to my bariatric surgeon because I know, like, at one point I went and I had gained like 2 pounds in like a 6 month period. And the nurse said to me, "Oh, wow, you've gained 2 pounds." And I said, and it was like at 4 in the afternoon too. And I'm like, well, this isn't like my standard, like, when I get up in the morning. And I said, well, I was less when I got up this morning. And she goes, well, what did you eat? I'm like,
I just didn't
now
shit today. What else do you want to know?
like, so I've been avoiding going back, and I have an appointment on
Mhm.
Thursday,
Mhm.
and I'm like in a panic
Mm.
because it's not just 2 pounds.
Yeah.
Now we're talking about like 20 pounds
Mhm.
that I've gained back. It's scary. Like, it's so scary because like I know I've not been doing the things that I need to do. Like,
Mhm.
there was a period of time where all of a sudden, like, even drinking a Proffee, the thought of it made me want to vomit. And like eating the foods that I should eat made me feel sick. And like I stopped taking my vitamins, and like I stopped doing all the things. And now I'm like in this place where I'm like ruined everything.
Mhm. Thank you so much for
So
sharing that. First off, I'm sorry that you've made to feel that way by your practitioners. And while with what I do in this space, especially as a dietitian, I can never replace your surgery center's guidance or advice, but I like to hope it's my job to encourage you to at least advocate for yourself and bring things to them. And I just want to remind you, Deb, like, obesity is a disease. It is a very complex disease, because I heard you saying, well, I'm not doing what I'm supposed to do. As a bariatric practitioner, my first thought is, okay, but okay, then why? Because we know it's not a knowledge deficit. We know, but just because you know doesn't mean it's going to change things. Hello, I'm a dietitian in surgery. I thought that I didn't know what to do. So, one, you haven't ruined anything, and two, you're you're hiring your surgery center. If like you're going to them for help, and if they're not the ones supporting you, you are with every right to fire them and find practitioners who will. Obesity is a very complex disease, and you don't have to apologize to them or anyone else for putting weight back on. And 2 pounds is so negligible. The fact that she even said that is just wild, that he's working in obesity care. And one of the things I remember telling one of my clients this too, who was really anxious to go see her dietitian at her center, and we were doing coaching on, separately. And I told her, I was like, "When you go, tell them how nervous you are. Tell them how you're feeling, because that can put the difference for the appointment too. Let them know, hey, being in here is giving me massive amounts of anxiety, because I I know I've gained weight and I'm not happy about it. Again, apologize for it, but I'm not happy about it. And I'm really anxious about honestly how I'm going to be treated in this appointment, and see how they respond to that. because you deserve to be treated with dignity and kindness and respect. And if they're not doing that, there are plenty of practitioners here who will. I don't know if Ashlyn or Helen wants to climb into that at all, because again, we've worked on both sides. We've seen both sides of things. Ashlyn wants to say something, I can tell.
I think particularly now in the time of obesity medicine doctors, that there's a certification, there's specific training. What is it, a residency for obesity medicine?
I think so.
And obesity medicine NPs, advanced practicing nurses, that I often recommend people after bariatric surgery to actually seek out an obesity medicine specialist, because now we're kind of beyond the surgery part and we're really into obesity management. And it's interesting because every time I go to the doctor, they're like, why does it say in your chart that you're obese? And I have to like explain to them, like, because I'm always obese. Like, I have the disease of obesity that is chronically being treated. And I was really happy at ASMBS this year that we like made a really strong statement that so ASMBS is the American Society of Metabolic and Bariatric Surgery, that obesity is a lifelong disease that requires different treatment at different times throughout the lifetime. And that if your surgeon's belief is that surgery is one and done and then it fixes you and then you like continue on, then they're probably not the best provider for you. But we are in an amazing time to be alive because there are advanced practicing nurses who are obesity medicine and MD DOs who are obesity medicine doctors. And really, I think for a lot of us, that's actually who we need to be treated by versus the surgeons themselves. There's some wonderful surgeons out there, but particularly if you are not being treated well, advocate. But I would say something and see how they respond. And if they respond really negatively, to me, that would be like, and we're done. It's a certification, and I will give this information to post. I know how you find the NPs, but I don't know how you find the Ps.
We can actually post it in the show notes of this episode. There's a platform where you can like search obesity specialists, like physicians in your area. You want to find maybe a PCP or another practitioner who has the obesity like specialization, essentially. I'll make sure that that's the right terms in the show notes, but yeah, so we can give you those resources.
The ASMBS is specifically the one through NPs are through. And so that's usually the one I use just because it's easier to find. Obesity medicine for MDs and DOs is separated, but
yeah. Or you could just have me on speed dial for your appointment. Let me talk to them. But yeah, and I can see that. And I'm sorry you're being made to feel this way, because you shouldn't. And I don't want to tell you you shouldn't feel a way. You absolutely can feel this way, but like feel your feelings. But it's unfortunate that those of us who have struggled with our weight our whole lives have been shamed to the point where we have like so much anxiety and are going into an appointment with people who are supposed to be helping you. So again, if you don't feel like you're being supported, it's time to find another practitioner.
And in that moment that I had the ability to, so it's the American Board of Obesity Medicine, which is abom.org, or obesitymedicine.org, which is the Obesity Medicine Association. I think people can be, or doctors can be a part of either. And then ASMBS is the one who the advanced practicing nurses get their certification through.
Amazing.
But we'll put that into the show notes.
In the show notes so that everyone can find that. But thank you for sharing with us, and please keep us updated on how you're doing. One of the things I can say I am most proud of since starting my journey is creating the support for others that I never had. I remember thinking, oh my God, I am a dietitian and I am struggling on this journey with not just what to do, but how to do it to be successful and actually live my life, which is why I created my tribe membership back in 2020. It is the most incredible resource that I offer and the best starting point if you're looking for more support or some of my more nutrition services. It's an acronym and it stands for the Real Insights of Bariatric Eating, and it has so much support in there, not just from myself, but from other credentialed experts. We have therapists, we have a doctor of physical therapy, we have a nurse, we have so many people in there to support you along the way. So if you are interested in more nutrition support and more support in hitting your goals on your journey, that is a great place to start. You can check out the link below and use the code CHAOSCREW20 for 20% off your first month. And there's no minimum commitment. You can unsubscribe whenever you want. But I will say you probably won't want to, because we do some epic things in there. Okay. Helen? Helen, absolutely.
I add to that, it is the most exciting time to be a dietitian or a practitioner in the obesity world because we finally figured out that it is a disease, that it's not willpower only, and it's not just what you know. And if anybody tells you that this has been a linear journey, they're full of crap. Okay, truly, truly. And so your tool's not broken. I switched from my surgeon to a bariatric doc because they're more supportive. They understand that it's not a linear journey. They're not looking for the goals of statistics based on surgery. So they're out there and you have not failed.
I feel like I had the surgery and then they're like, okay, bye.
No, I think it's for a lot of docs, it's like, okay, took out 80% of your stomach, drink your water, eat some protein, see ya, but it's not, it's so much more than
I
that.
don't want to call anyone out, but just out of curiosity, if you feel comfortable, raise your hand if you've ever struggled with regain. So for anyone who's not sitting in this room, every bariatric patient sitting in here, I think, is raising their hand right now. So you are not alone and you're not the only one struggling. And statistically, it's not a surprise. Everyone is going to regain some at some point, and that's not to be negative or to instill fear in anyone listening to this who maybe has never had that happen. But statistically, we were never meant to stay at our lowest. It's going to continue to fluctuate up and down. It's going to be a disease we have to manage long term. And that's frustrating, but it's also really hopeful to know that just because you're not where you want to be right now doesn't mean you can't get to where you want to be. Do we have any other questions for our live Q&A session?
Christine, I'm Barry Godmother. I am 9 years post RNY and have maintained 120 plus pound weight loss. So it is possible. And I just want to stress the importance of having a good relationship with a bariatric surgeon or obesity medicine doctor and their team, because I've had the same surgeon for over 10 years, and he has found some things in my annual blood work that when I tell him certain symptoms, he's looked for extra things. And it's been vital for me health-wise to have the surgeon go, okay, I know your history. I know your weight ups and downs. This doesn't look right. And sometimes it's related to your surgery or your obesity, but sometimes it's not. And the really amazing thing is I can call his office. I can say, this is going on, and they will have him or one of his staff get back to me. And for those folks who have gone out of the country or just don't have a good surgical team, I know that's a challenge for some people, especially where you live. You might not have those options. But as Jamie was saying, you can shop around for a new provider. Sometimes it might be your primary. My primary has helped me tremendously as well. So I just want to, I can't emphasize that enough. Big part of my success has been community, but it's also been having that doctor who has my back, having that team who has my back. Because when I'm uncertain about what's going on, whether it's my physical health or my mental health, I can say, hey, this has changed. And they can either do testing or provide medications for me or send me to somebody who can. And that has been critical. So don't get left out in the dust. And if you can't find somebody local, go online to trusted people and reach out to those resources who can say, hey, I'm looking for this. And they might know a team who can provide help for you and support for you through online means. And that is critical. So please don't do this alone, because none of us can do it alone. Not only do we need the support of fellow berries who have been vital on my journey, but our support people. And please make sure your surgeon and their staff are part of that support team. Don't drop them and go get your annual labs. I didn't have certain things pop up until year 7. Had I not gone to the doctor, to the surgeon, I would not have found out about my parathyroid issues.
Thank you for sharing that, Christine, and for the pep talk. I think we all needed to hear it. And no one quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure statistically most nutrient deficiencies don't show up until year 6 or 7 or further out. So I'll see people all the time who are 2, 3, 4 years post-op, and they're like, well, my blood work's been fine. I don't need to take my vitamins anymore. I'm like, no, we really do. So that's just a little reminder. Everyone, I am so grateful for all of you for coming, for being here, for celebrating Proffee and Chaos and the podcast launch. It's so meaningful to have you all sitting in this room with me and with each other. So thank you for tuning in and listening. And until next time, I will see you all soon, or you will hear from me soon on our next episode.